Marcus Conte reporting super predator Rashaun Weaver. That's his name, Rashaun Weaver, in the murder of Tessa Majors. 14-year-old Rashaun Weaver arrested in the murder of Columbia University student Tessa Majors, the girl who got stabbed in Morningside Park, allegedly buying some pot. You remember the story? So here we go. Busted. He's going to be tried as an adult. So, second teen arrested in Tessa Majors' murder, named as Rashaun Weaver. Super predator. There he is with his hoodie. There he is. Pulled him out of the projects. Wearing his hoodie. Tessa Majors scratched and struggled like hell against the teen with a knife who took her life during a botched robbery in Morningside Park last year. And now his DNA recovered from under her fingernails has helped implicate the boy who investigators are confident is her murderer. Gotcha. Rashaun Weaver, 14, was indicted by a grand jury and taken into custody without incident Friday at around 10:30 p.m. in the lobby of his home at the Taft Projects in East Harlem. He was charged as an adult. That's good news. That's good news. Take him down. Saturday morning with robbery and second-degree murder for fatally stabbing the 18-year-old Bernard College student steps from her campus. A senseless loss of life that stunned the city. Sure did. What we can do is say that we are confident that we have the person in custody who stabbed her, NYPD commissioners said. And that person will face justice in a court of law. Tessa Majors, jamming on the bass. Shea and Manhattan DA Cypress Vance cited a trove of hundreds of pieces of evidence linking Weaver to the stabbing, including not just the DNA forensics, but surveillance footage and at least one pivotal recording. In the recording, Weaver is caught telling someone that Majors was, quote, hanging on to her phone as she struggled, according to a criminal complaint. Quote, the defendant stated in substance that he was in the park and tried to take the girl's phone, and she was hanging on to her phone, and that he hit her with a knife, according to the criminal complaint. Hit her with a knife? Okay. The boy who turned 15 and who turns 15 in 2 months spent much of the briefing proceeding looking down at his hands with his cuffs, looking into his cuffed hands. He will be held in a secure juvenile facility and faces a maximum of life in prison in the December 11 death of Majors, an inspiring journalist, alt-rock composer, and bass player from Charlottesville, Virginia. Investigators say the boy, who is the son of an incarcerated father and a mother who also has a stab on her rap sheet from 2006, is the most violent among the trio of middle-aged muggers that attacked Majors in the park just 4 months into her freshman year. What a loving family. Father in jail, mother stabs people. The first boy arrested is the younger one, Zaire Davis, 13. We already talked about him. Busted the day after the murder, allegedly wearing clothes matching matching what cops saw on surveillance footage, and with a knife in his pocket. That was the 13-year-old. He told cops that Majors was stabbed with such force, feathers flew out of her jacket. Davis is being held in Brooklyn juvenile jail on robbery and murder charges. Officials have a third suspect. This is the third kid, right? 3 of them did it. They got 2 now. Third one, age 14, in their sights. And while he was being interviewed by police, while he has been interviewed by police and a search warrant has been executed at his home, he remains under investigation and uncharged. That's normal. They now have the 2 other kids. They'll get those 2 other kids to flip on the third kid, or they'll trick the third kid into a confession. Very normal for the police to do that. Weaver's owner, why botch up the arrest? Why let the kid get away with a technicality? Because there's a lot of radical blacks, if you will. Righteous blacks got to come to the rescue. Righteous black lawyers come to the rescue of the child, the victim child, the boy, the black boy who had no advantage in life, and that's why he did it. So Police are playing this one right. Weaver's own arrest was delayed by his ongoing hiding for several weeks last year, including in the Bronx, Shea said. Investigators also had to get a court order to obtain Weaver's DNA. Prosecutors Saturday also released a chilling description of Majors' final struggle. It was 6:45 on a Wednesday night, and Majors had just walked across the park. Sources have told the Post that she just purchased a small amount of marijuana, which would be stolen from her by young muggers. If marijuana was legal, this wouldn't have happened, correct? If guns were legal, this wouldn't have happened, because she could have pulled out a gun and shot the motherfucker. As she was about to climb the steep stone steps leading out of the park near 116th Street, she was attacked by a trio of young muggers, including, prosecutors say, the knife-wielding Weaver. Run your shit. Run your shit? Give me your phone, one mugger yelled, according to an ear witness cited in the complaint against Weaver. You got some weed? Give me that too, he yelled at Majors. The same witness then heard Majors scream, "Help me, I'm being robbed." A minute later, at 6:48 p.m., surveillance video shows Majors struggling with her three muggers on the lower landing of the stairs. Miss Majors was unable to break free and slowly staggered up the stairs. As she slowly pulled herself upward, her blood stained the landing and the stone stairs. She was near death when she reached the top of the stairs. They stabbed her multiple times. The Weaver's knife pierced her heart. After Majors collapsed, but she was still conscious, she stated that she had been stabbed in the park and robbed. So that's probably her last words. I was stabbed in the park and robbed. These were her last words she would speak, though she'd continued to bear witness in death. The DNA recovered from one of Tessa Majors' fingernail clippings matched a Y-strand DNA profile of Rashaun Williams. The Y-strand analysis traces paternal lineage DNA. Conclusive, I guess. The pot stolen from Majors that night would, like the DNA evidence, prove critical, sources told her. So it's critical evidence. Here he is. There's just the other photograph. Play a little video, too. There's a little video with a lot of photographs in it. So, an empty baggie was recovered from Weaver's apartment during a police search, sources said, and a local pot peddler had been confirmed it was the baggie he had sold to Majors right before she died. So that's different, right? Despite his young age, Weaver was already a successful knife-point predator in Morningside Park when he and his two pals attacked Majors, prosecutors contended. Listen to this. 4 days before her death, Weaver and his two pals allegedly flashed a knife and stole an iPhone XR from a man who'd been walking through the park. Super predators hanging out in the park, ripping people off. Weaver was caught on video surveillance fleeing that earlier robbery. And he's out. He's out walking around. No problem. Later that night, he allegedly used the victim's stolen iPhone to access his own email. What an idiot. Then on December 11, moments before attacking Majors, the three followed another man up the stone stairs after tracking him through the park, but gave up when a second man walked past him. This is his grandfather. "Nice kid," Clifford said, 82, insisted of him later Saturday night at his home in Jamaica, Queens. "Do I feel that he did it? No," said Grandpappy. "He's not a violent person." Keith Weaver, 32, an uncle. He's a jokester. Yeah, who cares? Sadly, none of this. Investigators said the latest arrest is no cause for celebration. Sadly, this cannot bring back the young woman. So, you want to watch a clip? Here's a clip, ABC reporting.
Developments in the tragic fatal stabbing of an 18-year-old Barnard College student. Tessa Majors made national headlines in December when she was attacked by a group of teenagers walking through a park in New York City. That crime sending shockwaves across the country. Tonight, a new arrest in the case. A 14-year-old charged with murder and other offenses. He will be tried as an adult. The Manhattan DA saying the evidence paints a gruesome picture and that Tessa Majors' last words were, "Help me, I'm being robbed." ABC Stephanie Ramos starts us off tonight.
Tonight, police arresting the teen they say is responsible for the brutal murder of Barnard College student Tessa Majors. The NYPD announcing 14-year-old Rashaun Weaver is being charged as an adult in her fatal stabbing.
We are confident that we have the person in custody who stabbed her.
Authorities say blood evidence, smartphone evidence, and the defendant's own statements paint a gruesome picture. Police describing her harrowing final moments.
Some of the last words she was known to have said was, "Help me, I'm being robbed."
According to the criminal complaint, video surveillance shows Majors entering Morningside Park just before 7 that evening. Weaver and 2 other teens allegedly enter around the same time from a different location, eventually confronting Majors. Police say Majors tried to fight back, leaving one of her attackers with bite marks.
It was a painstaking, deliberate, and meticulous search for the truth.
Weaver was wanted for questioning in the weeks after the killing, but ran away as he was being taken in for questioning. Eventually, he submitted to a police interview and DNA testing. Weaver is facing 2 counts of murder in the second degree. A 13-year-old alleged accomplice who's been in custody for 2 months faces a felony murder charge. The case gripping that New York City neighborhood with fear. Tonight, the district attorney vowing to honor Tessa, an 18-year-old freshman aspiring journalist and musician, with true justice.
Stephanie joins us now from the neighborhood where the murder took place. And Stephanie, if found guilty, how much time could Weaver face?
Well, Tom, Weaver has still needs to file a plea, but if convicted, he faces 25 years to life in prison. Police say he was arrested while at home with his family last night, and he did not resist arrest. Tom.
Stephanie Ramos with that update tonight for us. Stephanie, thank you.
So there you go, man. They got him. They got the kid. NYPD did their job. So congratulations on that. But it's still a tragedy. Still a tragedy on many levels. You know, there'll be the black community that cries out, see how underprivileged our children are, that they resort to murdering people in the park, and it's the white man's fault, and everybody should be so sad that the child's life is ruined because the fucking child, and meanwhile they don't look at the girl had all the privilege, motherfuckers that they'll spin that story. And say because the girl was, so there's that element. There's the racist element of it also as well. But there's also the element of the right to defend oneself. If the woman was carrying, where she's from, Charlottesville, Virginia, where you're allowed to carry a gun, if she had a gun with her, if she had a protection device with her, those cowards wouldn't be jumping her. And certainly, if marijuana was legal, like it should have been, 10, 20, 30 years ago in New York City, where you could just go into a coffee shop and buy your goddamn weed, then this wouldn't have happened as well. Yeah, the crimes. We try to make our lives safer. We try to create laws and more police and more laws to keep us safe. But in effect, it makes us less safe. It makes us less safe by trying to make laws that make us safe. So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting.